The Avengers gather at the Bodega Bay Inn, ready to face the evils head-on along with their comrade, only to find out he's dead.
This is Andre Toulon's diary. Today I gave them life, using the ancient Egyptian rites of afterlife.
I was up all night!
Welcome, ladies and gents, it's your host Gio, bringing you another Full Moon Pictures movie. Today we're going to be covering 1989's Puppet Master, written by Charles Band and Kenneth J. Hall, directed by David Schmoller and starring Paul Lee Matt, Irene Miracle, Matt Rowe, and Catherine O'Reilly. The movie tells of psychics who are called to attend a colleague's funeral, who unbeknownst to them has committed suicide. However, they're not convinced of the cause of death, discovering possessed puppets are behind the happenings here at this long-abandoned California hotel. That being said, let's jump right into the prologue of the movie and discover just how these marionettes are able to walk and talk. We open to the aforementioned hotel where the puppet master Andre Toulon adds the finishing touches to his latest puppet creation. When two men in black show up walking straight into the puppeteer's room, but Andre was already expecting them, with one of the puppets following close behind them, ultimately choosing to hide the puppets and doing himself in before they could get him. Cut to the present day where we're introduced to Paul Lee Matt's character, Alex Whitaker. He has a vision of leeches feasting on him, but let's quickly shift our attention to a psychic at a county fair. Her name is Dana. She's bullshitting her way through this couple's fortune, when she's suddenly hit with an actual vision, a premonition of her death. But before that could happen, let's introduce the last two psychics, who are married couple Frank and Carissa, who are monitoring this little girl's brainwave activity in this fancy-dancy high-tech computer, when they receive a phone call from Alex.
Hello.
Hi, it's Alex.
Hello, Alex.
Gallagher located the old puppet master's hiding place.
The Avengers gather at the Bodega Bay Inn, ready to face the evils head-on along with their comrade, only to find out he's dead. Nothing like death to bring back the old friend group. While Megan, wife of dead friend Neil, shows Alex his room, these three are very skeptical about his death, due to them being unable to pick up anything with their psychic magical powers. Dana, with a long silver stake, she goes ahead and checks to make sure he's dead as a doornail. Dana cleanses the cleaning lady, who later decides to spy on Dana and her stuffed dog. Alex, while looking over some pictures, has a vision of Megan dancing in a ballroom with a masked man, who is revealed to be Neil. Meanwhile, Frank and Carissa, in an elevator with the maid, have a vision from the past involving Neil assaulting someone. In their room, Carissa is wanting to fool around a bit, but Frank is locked in. That is until he hears who's had sex on the bed.
Clark Gable and Carol Lombard.
With the sun setting, everyone settles in for dinner. But what's supposed to be a peaceful dinner with your dead ex-colleague's estranged wife now feels more like an interrogation of your dead ex-colleague's estranged wife. Moreover, Dana, who seems very skeptical about the whole ordeal, exclaims,
"The truth is, honey, your husband's a despicable, greedy bastard."
Alex follows Megan, apologizing for Dana's behavior. Alex also gives the backstory. So Neil Gallagher had brought them together to help him find the Puppet Master's last whereabouts, using their psychic abilities. I don't know about this Gallagher fellow. He sounds like trouble to me. While everyone is enjoying themselves, the maid gets terrorized by the puppets. She's eventually killed by my guy Pinhead. What can I say other than I think in the same spot sometime later, Megan faints when she finds Neil sitting upright in a chair. I could have sworn this is exactly where the maid got murdered a little while ago, but whatever. So these three put Gallagher back in his casket while Alex watches over Megan. That is until she awakens. He also tells her about the vision he had. After dinner, Carissa wants to fool around a bit in the tub, but Frank, being the alpha male, rejects her advances, being strictly about business.
Frank!
Never mind, he's on some freaky shit.
We're about to embark on sexual experiment. Hopefully we'll be opening up a channel to Neil Gallagher.
Oh hell yeah, sex magic. Too bad I can't show it here on YouTube, but I will tell you one thing about those two.
I was up all night!
I'm kidding, they get rudely interrupted by the puppets. And by that, I mean they get wasted. Carissa when she peeks under the bed, that's Tunneler by the way. Then Frank's freaky ass enjoying leech woman's leeches. I like how everyone can hear Frank screaming bloody murder, but they all just chalk it up to him getting his rocks off. Dana and Alex run into each other in the hall. Dana tries to flirt Alex into making a little noise themselves. However, Alex finds it not a good idea. Dana calls it a night, however, she's already had a guest waiting for her. Neo once again out of his casket, perhaps wanting to take up Dana on her offer, but Dana says nope and uses her curse technique to lay Neo's soul to rest. That's when Pinhead attacks her, breaking her leg. He goes in for the kill, but Dana pulls one of the most uncommon common sense moments ever in any doll or small creature movie. Just watch. She chucks the little bastard. She crawls to safety, but Pinhead is back for round 2, but she just chucks him again. Blade shows up and chases her to the elevator. Dana successfully gets away, only to be met by Pinhead at the bottom. He pieces her up with the wombo combo, but Dana throws him against the wall. She's now 3-0 against Pinhead. However, with nowhere else to run, she bites the dust once Blade shows up. Cut to Megan pounding on Alex's door, telling him she's found something after what Dana had said at dinner. They wander into a room in the rundown part of the hotel, where we get an extended third-person perspective of Alex's vision. But in the words of Biggie Smalls, it was all a dream. But now it's not a dream, it's real life, and it's playing out the same. However, Megan has found a clue in the mystery.
This is Andre Toulon's diary. Today I gave them life, using the ancient Egyptian rites of afterlife.
The diary has a formula to create life in inanimate objects, further stating that the puppets reflect the behavior of the puppet master. Andre fears the damage that it could cause in the wrong hands. Alex gets another vision when he grabs the book. It's Neo in the same room, holding Dana's stuffed dog. He's pointing a gun at Alex. When Alex comes to, he grabs Megan and makes a run for it downstairs. He gets another vision, sensing the dead group in the kitchen, and they're not alone.
You're not leaving on my account, are you?
Holy shit, he's alive! Neo explains he had to win Megan over in order to gain access to the hotel. However, her parents hated him, so he had to kill them and experiment on them in order for him to gain eternal life.
It was a small price to pay to live forever.
Master!
Jesus Christ, Neil. Yeah, my face exactly, Jester. Beat the brakes off that woman. I guess Alex wants him too. Neo's pummeling Alex when Megan comes in with the save. They run for the exit when the reanimated maid stops them in their tracks. Oh Christ, Neo, duck, dodge, weave, or maybe even try parrying him. Megan goes for assist number 2 but gets knocked to the side. Alex nutchecks Neo to gain the upper hand, but Neo has regained the upper hand, but Alex knocks him into the elevator for the puppets to deal with.
What the hell do you think you're doing?
Rip Neo, this time for reals though. Why are you yelling stop for? Just let the asshole die. In the morning, Megan sees Alex off. Our final shot of the film is Dana's dog, who's now in Megan's possession, awaken and walks off screen with Megan. Wow guys, wasn't that something? One of my favorite franchises to come out of the 80s, horror scene. The first full-length film from independent powerhouse Full Moon Features, founded by Charles Band, who is no stranger to the B-movie circuit, with cult classics such as Dollman, Demonic Toys, Castle Freak, Subspecies, Sorority Babes in the Slime Ball-Rama, which I covered on the video by the way, and my personal favorite, the Evil Bong series.
Told you it wouldn't work, Jimbo!
Well, I guess we're gonna have to take this up a notch.
Now you aren't dealing with your average A24 post-modern horror art house film, but something that's just as entertaining in a silly, campy kind of way. What Full Moon lacks in big-budget spectacular, offers in a small, intimate, bad shit kind of way of storytelling. Which brings us to today's feature, Puppet Master. It has, up to at least a third one, a relatively digestible story. Once you get to the fourth one and beyond, the storytelling gets a little bit quirky, but we'll go over them in their own separate videos.
In the upworld, remain in danger.
Getting back to the first one, it was never intended to spawn a franchise. It was originally set for a theatrical release when main man Charles Band preferred a straight-to-video release to better suit the very lucrative home video market at the time. It did so well, in fact, that 1 year later it released the sequel, so let's take a look at what made the movie so profitable. First, the most obvious, which is the puppets themselves, which have their own unique appearance and name based on certain characteristics. The most popular out of the original bunch is Blade, kind of resembling a Gestapo officer, deadly and always on the prowl. Next is Pinhead. His hands aren't the only thing that's big, he's also got a big heart, although we don't see him express that side of himself in this one. Third mention is Tunneler. He can tunnel through anything, what else can I say? Followed by Leech Woman. While she's the only female of the group, she'll make sure you won't forget her. Last, but certainly not least, is Jester, who kinda reminds me of someone with BPD the way he changes his mood so quickly. From a merchandise standpoint, these babies sold like hotcakes. Another point I would like to add would be the music. I'm sure you've heard this tune before at a haunted maze or at a party city and stuff like that. Composed by Richard Band, brother of Charlie Band, he's composed nearly all of Full Moon's catalog, as well as my personal favorite theme, which is a parody version of the Psycho theme song he used in Reanimator. Last aspect I would like to bring up would be the wardrobe/clothing. From Andre Toulon's character, who appears briefly in the prologue, to Dana's witchy type outfit, everybody in this movie is either looking fly as hell or sexy. But no matter how sexy Catherine O'Reilly's character was, or how spooky the music is, it didn't save it from the critics. Damn those critics. Who panned the movie for its bad acting, weak script, and jumbled first act. With audiences, it was a hit. As of August 2025, there are 15 films in the franchise. Count 'em, 15. 11 mainline movies, 1 crossover film, 2 spin-offs, and a reboot. Who's really in the right, the critics or the audiences? I'll let you be the judge of that. For me, this movie's a 7 out of 10. Definitely had potential, like some of the critics said, but I enjoyed the movie myself nonetheless. My favorite part of the film obviously is the puppets. But if I had to choose, it would have to be Dana's fight with Pinhead. Him piecing her up only to be thrown across a room or down the stairs is fucking hilarious to me. And my least favorite part of the film is definitely the story. I could feel the story wanting to say more, but it's limited to its 90-minute runtime. Maybe the sequel has more meat on its bones, so stay tuned for Puppet Master 2. And that's going to be all, folks. I'll see you guys on the next one.